All right. Hello again. Thank you for tuning in to the second episode of The Lighter Side of Technology, brought to you, of course, by Global Talent Accelerator, the amazing top of the class Canadian company that wants to help your company grow by finding and placing with you the very best in senior tech talent from Canada and abroad. Anyway, moving on, today's episode is going to feature the founder and VP of Consulting from Helix Technology, Mr. Alex Ostritsky, an international man of wonder, just a crazy, funny, brilliant man who's been in tech for more than 40 years. So let's just jump right in. Here you go. Enjoy.
Well, the story was this was my actually first real job out of university. Was hired on as a programmer, but back in those days, if you were a computer geek, you did just about one of everything.
Yeah.
So even though technically my job was writing code, I was part of the IT department of 3 people in a company of 400. There was all 3 of us.
Wow.
And being the low man on the totem pole, when the company decided to move buildings, literally about 2 weeks after I started, all the dirty jobs fell to me, organizing, making sure that all 10 PCs out of 300 people and all the printers were moved across to the new location. The wonderful 1 megabit, that would be 1 megabit, not 100 megabit network was set up so that the various folks can get their jobs done. And the biggest issue, and the one that I was told in no uncertain terms by my boss would absolutely get me fired, if the CEO's assistant's PC, back in those days they were referred to as the executive assistant. I'm not even sure what the politically correct term today is, but she was an executive assistant. Mm-hmm. And she actually had formal computer training from somewhere, not sure where, or so I was told, that her PC and her printer was working, because it was very important for her to print off whatever documents she could back in those days on the dot matrix printers. So needless to say, I've ignored pretty much everyone else and everything else to make sure that her PC was working, was hooked up.
Just to clarify for 1 second, for anybody who of a certain age that's watching this now that thinks I know everything about tech, a dot matrix printer, that was the one where you had basically the tearaways with the little holes, so the teeth pulled it through?
The tearaways, little holes, and had a whole bunch of little hammers making out what pictures on it.
And they were famous for being really quiet, right?
Oh, absolutely. If you were printing something in a dot matrix printer, you required ear protection.
Yeah. There you go. Absolutely. So if you're wondering to yourself, if you're asking yourself what the HE double hockey sticks is a dot matrix printer, check this out. Right. Super loud, annoying, but that's all there was. That was what was available. So thank goodness technology has moved on. Anyway, let's get back to Alex's story.
Oh, and again, this being, of course, the CEO's executive assistant, it wasn't just some cheapo little dot matrix printer, even though there was no such thing as a cheapo printer in those days. But yeah, this was a big, huge, wide printer, but wider than her PC. So, of course, made sure that the PC was moved, was hooked up, everything was working, printer was working. She could actually get into her wonderful WordPerfect, wow, feel the power, on DOS, print off whatever documents are required, made triple sure, and hightailed back to my office about 3 floors down. About 15 minutes later, my extension rings, and she says, well, everything's working fine, but I have a bit of a problem. I said, what's the problem? She says, well, every time I print a document, and it's a very important document for my boss, my computer resets. I said, what do you mean it resets? Well, she says, it resets. I print it off, and then the computer just has funny characters on the screen, and I hear the power going on and off, and the computer resets. I said, okay, well, checked as much as I could remotely. Asked her, okay, try printing it again. And I hear her typing, the keys typing. I hear printing starting to go. And then I actually hear, back in those days, you could actually hear PCs. They were quite loud. Yeah. Their speakerphone, PC is reset. And I'm going, what the heck? So off I go, schlepped up 3 flights of stairs, faster than the elevator, back in one of the downtown Toronto buildings. Got on the computer, pulled up a document, printed the document. It came off on a printer, cleared it off, gave it to her, said, there's no problem. She goes, no, it doesn't work. I'm telling you, as soon as you leave, it's going to happen again. So I had a bit of a flash and inspiration, said, you know what? Why don't you show me what is it that you're doing? But she says, well, I sit in front of the computer, I pull up WordPerfect, I send the document to the printer, and you hear printing starting to go. The printer, of course, was sitting behind the monitor. So she reaches over to the printer, and being somewhat well endowed, as the executive assistants are back in the 80s, certain portions of her body make contact with the keyboard right where the reboot button is. She says, see, I told you. Every time I print it, my computer reboots.
That's funny. Oh my God.
And that's it. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode number 2 of The Lighter Side of Technology. If you have a story you'd like to share, something that will make our viewers laugh, please reach out to me directly. You can do so by putting a comment below wherever you're seeing this video, or you can email me directly at lee@gta-canada.com. Until then, watch out for those keyboards. Thank you.